Yes, hello. Welcome, folks. Come on in and sit right down. Pull up a seat. You found yourself at the JBR Train Car Diner. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Always serving up the hottest and sloppiest, from meaty middleweights to lousy light heavies. I'll be the one taking care of you this evening. My name is Lazybed. It's right there on the name tag. The booths to either side of you will be handled by my good pals Dangermouse and No Special. And of course, your meal will be prepared by our world renowned head chef, Super Dave, and his sous chef, Chatri. The special tonight is a delightful bit of fusion cuisine, the Cajun flavors of southern Louisiana blended with hearty Dagestani mountain cooking. And it's only served one way hot. All right, enough with the bullshit, guys. How we doing, folks? This is the official Just Bleed Radio UFC 302 preview show, coming to you on what is a most glorious Memorial Day weekend here stateside. We hope you're all enjoying yourselves, preferably with a cold beverage and or some tasty trees. Today we'll be breaking down the main card for the Poirier vs. Mashev pay-per-view this weekend, including some personal predictions and maybe a bit of hijinks along the way. Before we begin, please do like and subscribe, and if you'd be so kind, maybe hit that notification bell and leave us a comment. It helps with the algorithm. Seeing as we're now on the push to 100 subscribers, all participation is greatly welcomed. With that, fellas, how we doing? How we living? It's been about 2 weeks since we last got together. Any interesting non-MMA talking points to touch on? Austin, how was the Trump rally?
You son of a bitch. No, I yeah, you slice of a dog. I went to as much as I would love to hang out with that menacing crowd, and that piece of shit. Neither here nor there. I went to a Luke Combs concert in San Jose, California, in Levi Stadium, and holy fucking shit, me and the wife had a blast. I actually picked up a traffic cone and walked it about three and a half miles from the stadium back to the hotel because Uber could not pick us up, and there was a lot of drunk rednecks, and I was buzzed, but having a good time. We all got to have a good time there, and funny thing, there was a proposal, and the lady who got the proposal given to had mascara running down her face as if she was the Joker, and it was hilarious, but it was also heartwarming because it was such a great moment to Luke Combs' Beautiful Crazy, and it was amazing. And, yeah, family's out of town this weekend, so, just hanging with the boys. The boys! The boys! But no, great time all around. This work fucking week started off like hectic, and today I fucking literally had to take care of a skunk issue, but it is what it is. Life of a pest control technician in California. It never does end, does it?
What about you, Danger Mouse? You been up to anything interesting?
I really can't match that at all. I think the best I can do is last week I did manage to go and put some holes in paper down at the local range, but other than that, no, not really done very much at all. Other than obviously consume MMA media wherever I can.
Yeah, I didn't really do anything anywhere near as interesting as Austin either. Pretty much just the standard. I think some of the listeners may be able to tell I'm a little bit under the weather today, but we're soldiering on and we're getting this thing done anyway.
Fucking drink more whiskey.
The Yingling is going down pretty smooth, so we'll see.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Well, let's get down to business. We don't got no time to play around. What is this? That's right. That's a little Slim Shady there for DM. First fight on the docket for today's breakdowns. You guys ready to get into this thing?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. All right, a battle of veteran welterweights jockeying for position in the 170-pound division. 18-5 rude boy Randy Brown takes on 24-7-1 Elizu Zaleski dos Santos. Brown comes into this fight 4-1 in his last 5, with his only loss during this run coming at the hands of Jack Della Maddalena. Zaleski enters with a pretty impressive 10-3-1 record overall in the UFC, his most recent outing being his lone career draw versus Hanat Fakhretdinov back in November. Danger Mouse, the Count of Casuals. I shouted you out with the Eminem intro there, so let's go ahead and go to you first on this fight. How do you see this thing unfolding?
Yeah, so the first fight, opening fight, Rude Boy Randy Brown versus Elizu Zaleski dos Santos. I hope that's how he pronounces it. It's how I'm pronouncing it anyway. So we have dos Santos with the 24-7-1 record. Randy Brown 18-5-0. Consider 4 years younger. I am just going to go mainly through a quick look at stats on things here, especially on these early fighters. I might give more opinion on the later ones. But on this one, the most striking thing is they're just so identical. If you look at the stats, strikes landed per minute 4.37 for Brown, 4.52 for Dos Santos, accuracy 46 and 42, strikes absorbed per minute 3.33, exactly for the same for both, and striking defense 54, 57. There's just very little between them when you look at the numbers. But there is the big 5-inch reach advantage that Brown has. As I said, he's 4 years younger. I did watch some footage of him today. He's clearly very dangerous. He likes to use that reach. Zaleski, I didn't get much chance to see of any of his performance, but I can't see him at 5'11". I can't see him being able to stay out of the way of Randy Brown. He's probably going to land a few good shots, but I think Randy Brown will probably take this one. And I've probably gone a bit further than I meant to go there.
You're good. You're good. Is your official prediction there, Mouse? You're going with Rude Boy Randy Brown here?
Yeah, it's kind of just mainly off the stats, but yeah, I think so on that one. I am willing to have my mind changed if Austin comes out with something fantastic.
Oh, that's a good segue, Austin. What do you think about this one?
All right. All right. So, Elizu Zaleski dos Santos is the epitome of a journeyman inside of the UFC. You know why? Because that dude did not have to go through the Ultimate Fighter, unlike a brethren of his from the same country, Warley Alves. And reason why I say that is because he is this man that shows up and is expected to be great, just based off of where he's from. He was on I believe a 8-fight or 7-fight win streak. If I'm not mistaken, prior to a certain loss that he suffered to Li Jingliang. If I'm lying, strike me down now. No.
You are correct. 7-fight win streak.
Yeah, so he basically was that guy, and he wasn't a decision machine that we have seen as of late. He was a guy who had prowess, who had this ability to survive and come back and win. Now, as of late, he is a guy who's just, I exist in this division as a name, but not much more. Almost as if he was a Jim Miller, but Brazilian. And that's a shame because he's actually very talented. Randy Brown, however, is the epitome of what the Contender Series is trying to push. Let's take a guy who's on the regional scene. Let's push him onto the set of the UFC and see how it does. He'll have mixed results, sure, but he'll be exciting nonetheless. He's either going to point fight you and look great doing it, or he's going to get knocked the fuck out or submitted. And more often than not, he's going to win. Because the level of the competition that he's facing is usually lesser than what he's faced before. So, more often than not, I would pick Randy Brown. But in this case, I'm going to pick Elizu Zaleski dos Santos because of his ability to survive and adapt. Randy Brown is the epitome of a point fighter who cannot adapt when he faces tougher competition. That being said, the only way Randy Brown kind of coasts to a decision is if Dos Santos does not press the pace. So I'm going to side with Dos Santos because he's a veteran of the game longer, but that doesn't mean that Randy Brown can't just pull a win out of his ass and, submit him or something. or catch him, slipping in the third round. I don't believe Randy Brown is that great. But I believe he is a guy who just needs a little bit more time to cook. Just take him out of the barbecue pit and put him inside the oven. just let him cook a little bit more, but not super, exposed to fire. He's almost a perfect product of a fighter that you would want inside of a division like this, inside of welterweight. Dos Santos is pretty much like the baked potatoes. There's no wrong way to make baked potatoes, twice baked potatoes, or even mashed potatoes. Honestly, however you make them, it's probably going to end up great. Not great for your health, but that's a different story. You can figure it out as you go, but this is where he is.
All right, so that means that No Special is officially selecting the potato Elijah Zaleski. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. No Special is on the potato.
Potatoes are us.
I do love a good potato. I mean, they're fucking fantastic.
They're not bad. They're not bad when you're doing right.
Jeez. Both for my take here, both these guys are a bit underrated at welterweight. They've each got some wins over impressive competition, particularly on the part of Zaleski dos Santos, who has dubs over both Sean Strickland and Benoit Saint Denis. Those are two pretty big wins to have on your resume, albeit earlier in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a tiny bit of controversy with Zaleski dos Santos, because during his time in the UFC, he has tested positive for the now infamous Osterine. So, a bit of a potential cheat, I guess you'd say. Nevertheless, here, both guys share a common opponent in Muslim Salikov, with Brown defeating him via KO and Dos Santos losing a close split decision. Two game veterans who both have finishing ability, but I think age is going to play a factor here, and it's definitely going to affect my pick. I'm going to go with Randy Brown winning in this one, and I like a finish in the latter half of the fight, likely ground and pound TKO. Boom.
That's fair.
All right. For that one there, let's move it along. Chugga. All right, next up, the big boys make the walk as Comrade Moldova's Alexander Romanov meets fellow heavyweight and former light heavyweight Jailton Almeida in a tussle between number 17 and number 13 ranked contenders. King Kong Romanov has lost just twice in the UFC to perennial contenders Marcin Tybura and Alexander Volkov. Almeida, of course, coming off of the very recent TKO loss to Curtis Blades just 2 months ago. Both these guys are fighting for supremacy in this currently stagnant weight class, but ultimately only one can come out on top. How do you fellas see this one playing out come fight night? We'll keep the same order here, and we'll go back to you on this one, DM.
Yeah, so this one, I know the name Almeida very well. I did have to look up Alexander Romanov. He's not a name or a face that pops into mind when I heard the name. I did see some amusing footage of him, which I'll mention in a moment. But just looking at the stats, they're both very tall guys, 6'3", 6'2". I'm looking at the image I have as Almeida at 205 pounds, but we're fighting at heavyweight, so I'm not quite sure what's going off there. Reach, Almeida has the slightly bigger reach. We have orthodox versus southpaw, which I guess could make a difference. Age more or less the same. Romanov does land slightly more strikes at 4 per minute compared to Almeida's 2.54. But Almeida is more accurate. He's at 64%, and then Romanov at 52%. And then strikes absorbed per minute. Almeida's fantastic at 0.74. Romanov at 2.2, which is pretty low, realistically speaking. And then striking defense, Romanov 50% and Almeida just 40%, which almost seems some kind of weird juxtaposition to those stats that I've just read out. But That's what I'm reading at the moment. And then takedown average 6.88 for Almeida per 15 minutes, 4.32 for Romanov, accuracy 59 for for Almeida, 54 for Romanov. Takedown defense 75% for Almeida, but I wonder if that's maybe that he hasn't had very many people attempt to take him down. But just 20% for Romanov, and then sub-average at 2.2 for Almeida and just 0.9 for Romanov. The footage I saw of Romanov earlier was him tossing people around the cage like they were rag dolls, just picking them up, throwing them all over the place. And he finished off at where he goes through his entire coach, his coach in his corner, just picking them up and slamming them down after he's won the fight. So the guy can certainly. I mean, his nickname is King Kong. I suppose it makes sense that he can throw things around like rag dolls. Whereas Almeida, I have no idea what his nickname translates as. Mahaldino.
Oh, Mahaldino.
Yeah, I have no idea what that translates as.
I'm not sure.
But I think if we want excitement, it might be Romanov that gets the win. But I really don't know on this one at all. I'm excited to hear what Austin has got to say on this one. That's genuine. I genuinely don't have a clue which way to pick on this one.
Oh shit! All right. Lizzie, did you want to? Oh fuck it, whatever.
Shoot.
Sorry,
Romanov. No, you're good. Romanov is the guy I would lean to only because he's actually faced the upper echelon of the division and actually been a guy that has honestly kind of adapted to what the division gives him. Shit. My apologies. The only problem is that because they're both grapplers, are we going to go only get a standing fight? You know, both grapplers. Sometimes the thing is when two grapplers meet, they tend to stand, right? And now both of them. Yeah, exactly. So because they're primarily wrestlers, JLT and Almeida being the more scared to strike on the feet at all costs. And it's not because he doesn't know how to strike. I'm assuming he does. But he seems to look for the takedown desperately. Unlike a majority of grapplers, there's a play into how you strike and get into the game of looking for a takedown. You can jab, fake the jab, and then go for a double leg, or you can do a Daniel Cormier, paw with a jab, and then just kind of look for a single leg, and then switch to a double leg if needed. You can, be a Jacare Souza, and just, show power in your striking, and then get them to kind of, bunch up against the fence, and then look for a takedown. In this case, Jailton Almeida is that guy who's he thinks he's better than what he shows. And because he's an athlete, he thinks he can kind of skirt the lines of I can do the thing and nobody can stop me. And the minute somebody actually stops him, he has no answer. A la Curtis Blades, Jailton Almeida, with that, elbow to the face.
Several. Yeah, several.
Alexander Romanov is the epitome of I have tried to learn and I'm still kind of figuring it out. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's able to beat the upper echelon of the division, but he should have enough prowess and grappling ability to beat the underdeveloped Jailton Almeida, in my opinion, because he's also started as a grappler who basically, like DM was saying, if you're suplexing your coaches, that is a thing that is done on the international circuit of grappling and more or less international wrestling. It is a thing of pride when you throw your coach because you've done the thing, you've won the match, you're celebrating. And Alexander Romanov is going to celebrate again when he throws his coach because he's going to submit Jailton Almeida.
Ooh, nice. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
So with that breakdown, DM, do you got an official pick now?
I'm certainly now leading more towards Romanov.
All right, that's the two of you on Romanov. All right. For me,
Oh.
What, you got something else?
No. I was just going to say, like, the only caveat would be whether or not Romanov shows up in shape.
Yeah, yep. That's actually exactly what I was going to mention. Romanov, if you remember, at one time was a pretty fucking hot prospect in the heavyweight division. And then I think he had some time away, like maybe a period without a fight. And when he came back, he was completely fucking out of shape. He was fat and nasty, and everyone had fucking questions like, where's this guy's fucking mind at? Where's his head at? What's his cardio going to look like? But surprisingly, despite the fat and the relatively milk bag like body, he's been getting it done. Sort of like you were touching on, Austin, Almeida and Romanov, they each tend to come in with a very similar game plan. They're both wrestling heavy. They like their control time. They like to dictate the pace and use either physicality or technique to just dominate their opponent. Uh, Obviously, the size edge in this one will likely go to Romanov, with the speed going to Almeida, because, like DM pointed out, Almeida is a former light heavyweight who wasn't all that long ago was fighting down at 205, and now he's up at heavyweight. So I think Romanov's gonna have a pretty sizable weight and potentially strength advantage uh, over Almeida. Also, Romanov has only really lost to top guys in the UFC. So this ought to be a true test of Jailton's ability. And I think a lot, like I said, is going to hinge on the cardio of Alexander coming in. So I'm going to go Romanov by decision here in what's likely a long, boring, grappling heavy affair. I think Almeida will have his moments, but it's not going to be enough. So yeah, I'm going to go with Alexander Romanov.
Consensus opinion it is then on that one.
We could all be fucking dead wrong come Sunday morning.
Why would
Yeah,
you
but-
say it like that, though? Like, it's just boring. Like, why?
It's gonna be. It's gonna be a snoozer. It's either gonna do exactly what you said. They're gonna cancel each other out with the wrestling, and it's gonna turn into a slugfest, which that could be very fun. Or I think it's gonna be more or less a wrestling match with the ability to strike, but probably not too much.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Maybe we get a suplex or two, out of on Almeida.
I hope so.
Romanov will get one as well.
All right, moving right along, folks. Our next matchup takes place in the middleweight division. Number 15 ranked Riverside, California native Trailblazer Kevin Holland takes on the unranked 29-year-old Polish product Michal Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk comes in with an abysmal 7-5-0-1 record in the promotion, most recently suffering a loss via RNC early in the first against Michel Pereira at UFC 299 in Miami. Holland has a UFC record that's only slightly more impressive at 12-8-0-1, entering the contest off of back-to-back losses at the hands of JDM and Michael Venom Page. A couple of fighters who are a bit of a coin flip when it comes to predicting their performances. From high highs to low lows, both these fellers seem to have the ability to win or lose on any given night. That being said, where do you guys fall on this middleweighty matchup?
We have the Trailblazer versus the Hussar, USA versus Poland, and yes, I'm doing anything I can to avoid having to say Mikhail's surname. Yes, we'll stick with Trailblazer and Hussar for this one. We've got Holland. I mean, everybody kind of knows Holland, tall, rangy, 6'3" compared to Mikhail's 6 foot. Obviously, the same way. Again, we've got Southpaw versus an Orthodox fighter. I don't I'm not aware of Holland having any particular problems above what everyone normally has against the Southpaw. We've got strikes landed 4.24 for Holland, just over 5 for for Hussar. And again, striking accuracy is very almost identical. Hussar does take more strikes per minute. He's taking 4.26 versus 3.19 for Holland. And Holland has just 50% strike defense, 61% for the Hussar. Don't see this one's going to go to any kind of wrestling kind of match. My gut feeling would be Holland. Range, as I've said, rangy. We know he can be good. It depends how much he wants to talk to him. I guess that could be amusing. So yeah, my very brief synopsis on how I think it'll go, and I'll throw it back to Austin.
All right, Mr. Austin, what do you think?
This Polish madman, I think, is going to finish Kevin Holland.
Oh.
And not in the fun way. Mainly because I think he's going to catch him with the fucking body shot to the ribs. Only reason why I say that is because Kevin Holland tends to leave his lower body open to strikes. He's not the best at defense, but he's definitely a better offensive fighter. Not too dissimilar from this main event, but we'll discuss that in a later time. Mikhail Oleozishik is going to land a body shot to stun him and possibly hurt Holland. Now, that's not to say that Holland can't recover and take a vicious win, but I don't see that being the case because this is a shorter notice fight at middleweight, which is a weight class he has not fought in a very long time. There's just too many factors that are favoring Mikhail Oleozishik, and not a lot of factors that are favoring Kevin Holland. As much as I want to pick Holland, I'm going to pick the second favorite son from Poland.
Shout out, JK.
Yes.
So that is no special officially on Oleksijchuk. DM, did you give a pick? I don't think you gave a pick.
I said I was undecided, I believe.
Did you
Although
you
somebody will
decided?
probably go back and check our editor, clip it, and reveal the fact that I'd already said one or the other.
He's waiting. He's waiting for me to pick the picks.
But on this particular occasion, yeah, on this one I was. Let's be honest here. I think my picks record is up there with yours.
Yeah, you got
Although
a good...
I do use more technical methods of getting mine right, not just pulling the information out of my own brain.
I can't do it any other way because, God forbid, I look at the matchup and think, you know what, let me have a couple beers and think about this, and then I forget what they're doing, and then I'm just like, you know what, let's go with the funny sounding name. I'm on fucking Dave, cut this out before you fucking decide. I'm on beer number 4, you fucks. Ah!
Oh, God.
All right, Mouse, we got to have a pick for the record.
Yeah, I will probably end up switching over to the Hussar, I think.
All right, 2 people on Oleksijchuk. That leaves just me, little old Lazybed, over here in the corner, like Ian Gary, just watching.
That's weird. That's weird. Such a reference.
Let's get a little weirder. This one, to me, in my humble opinion, it could be a little bit tough to predict. Neither guy here is the most consistent or easy to bank on. They both got a fucking tendency towards wild fights and sloppy engagements. In his 8 UFC losses, Holland has only been finished 3 times. Twice by sub, once by KO TKO. Mihal has been finished by submission in 4 of his 5 UFCLs. I'm going to go with the numbers here, and I'm going to choose Kevin Holland by submission. I think his grappling is just under the radar enough to lock in something sneaky and get the tap. I'm thinking maybe something like a Darce choke and I'd say under 2.5 rounds.
How many submissions does he have on his record officially?
Oh, Kevy baby.
Yeah,
Let's see.
Yeah, there's
because
7.
that's a deceptive fucking stat if it comes up.
7. Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7 submission wins.
How many of them are in the UFC?
I don't know.
Let's see. 1, 2.
Don't you play with my emotions on this one? It has to be more than 3.
Bravo choke against Tim Means.
3. I'm seeing 3 in the UFC.
Really? Holy shit. Okay.
two Bravo chokes and a rear naked. Although he did get a TKO submission to slam.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen that one.
The fuck is that? I don't remember that.
Who's it against?
Charlie Ontiveros?
Oh yeah, no, he that was the one where he like beat the fuck out of a guy who was like somewhat he had like an illness and he technically shouldn't have been fighting if I remember correctly. He had like some kind of like diabetic fucking thing or some shit and he slammed him after beating the fuck out of him against the mat. And
He
like
beat
he
a handicap guy. What the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah, that's pretty much what it was. If I remember correctly.
Either way, I'm sticking with it. I got Kevin Holland by submission there.
I swear to God, if you don't fucking win money off of this, I'm gonna be fucking mad at you.
Maybe Dave should put in a bet for old Just Bleed Radio, the
Yeah.
JBR parlay.
No.
I can't bet in California. I need you guys to fucking win bets for me.
Okay, all right. We're going to keep chugging along. It is now time for the co-main, baby. On to the next one. We now venture into our co-main event of the evening. 5 rounds in the UFC's middleweight division. Former champion Sean Strickland takes on former title challenger Paulo Borrachinha Costa. Major stakes here as the number 1 contender in Strickland pits himself against number 7 Costa. Tarzan is your minus 205 favorite. This his first bout after losing the middleweight title to Dricus du Plessis. Costa, your plus 170 underdog, finds himself 6-3 in the UFC, with his most recent outing being a unanimous decision loss to Robert Whittaker at 298. Now, big time title implications in this one, with Strickland's rematch seemingly hanging in the balance. Do you guys think the top contender, Strickland, takes the win and continues on towards regaining championship gold? Or does the secret juice run loose and topple Strickland's apple cart? Danger, take it away.
Okay. I am the well-known Strickland stan. So don't be surprised which way my pick is going to go. Almost certainly going to go this way.
Let's fucking go.
I will not need Austin's help on this one. Again, stat-wise, I mean, we all know what Sean's like. He lands a fair amount of punches, 5.91 per minute. Boricino actually lands more, 6.2. But he also he actually has a negative. I can't think of the word now. He takes more strikes than he lands per minute at 6.38, which obviously Strickland doesn't at 4.33. Strickland's defense, which we all know is off the scale, 62%, just 47 for Costa. Costa, if he wants to win this one, has to push Strickland back and not let Strickland control the action. Once Strickland starts marching forwards and gets to cut you off against the cage and impose his will on you, he will do that. The always thing that I worry with Sean is that he's going to be too much of a points fighter and rely on hitting, whereas Costa will obviously swing to hit and he's going to hit hard wherever he gets the chance. And the eternal thing of optics could easily come into this again. We could see Costa's face very badly messed up the day after, just like DDP's was. But Strickland could easily lose the fight. I do think if I'm not entirely sure that Costa can maintain that forward pressure long enough. I think he'll take a round. He might take 2 rounds, but I think Sean should win it. If Sean comes anything on point, if he uses his teep, which he sometimes starts off great with and then seems to give up on using, if he uses that on Costa and take the energy out of that big frame, a few kicks straight up the middle, and I think that's a solid path to victory for Sean on this one. So yeah, no problems for me. Sean Strickland is my pick.
I gotta say, those are some pretty astute observations for a count of casuals there, Danger.
I do my best.
That was a good breakdown. Austin, what do you think? I know you're gonna have a good one on this.
Honestly, I'm gonna pick Paulo Costa. I'm not even gonna question it. Here's the thing. Sean works well with people who can forward pressure and don't have a backup plan to that pressure or know how to stack attacks while pressuring forward. The basis of my prediction is based off of the Paulo Costa versus Robert Whitaker. Hail Robert Whitaker, the greatest middleweight of all time. Fuck everybody else that thinks that differently. Realistically, Sean Strickland is a guy who pressures forward, and he uses minimal openings to exacerbate the opponent's weaknesses. Basically, if I push forward, almost like if I have a shield, you're going to have to throw out the shield if I don't give you a whole lot of openings, right? In this case, Paulo Costa is not that kind of a fighter. Paulo Costa is a guy who lands big and lands heavy, and he uses his physicality to kind of change up how the fight progresses. When we watched him fight Robert Whitaker, Robert had a hard time finding his distance and finding his counters. Because Paulo was fairly decent at keeping him at range, but struggled because he allowed Whitaker to gain momentum when he couldn't land willingly. Now, that's not to say that Costa is willing to let Strickland do the same thing, but I'm going to say physicality wins this fight. Physicality and accuracy. Who's also accurate and physical? Paulo Costa. Our wine boy, he's gonna land heavy and he's gonna land big and he's gonna land often. Strickland's gonna keep walking forward, and he's not gonna give a whole lot of other openings other than walking into a counter that Costa has planted for him. So I'm gonna say Costa by split decision.
You see, this is why you guys are on a podcast, because you're pretty fucking good at this shit.
I am not. I am drinking. Then this is my thing. God damn it, Dave! Cut that. Cut that.
Those are 2 good breakdowns, and you guys both made some very good points. In fact, Danger Mouse, you actually made me think of something that I hadn't thought of prior. This could be very eerily reminiscent of the Strickland DDP fight.
Don't say that. Don't say that, because it's gonna be hard
No,
to tell.
I don't mean necessarily like in result, like it could end in a finish. I'm just saying with the way it plays out, because you could very well see Costa doing what DDP did and just kind of trying to juggernaut and muscle forward and hitting those big fucking looping impactful shots and spinning wheel kicks and shit that Costa throws, and it just kind of rattling Sean enough to overtake his jabs and 1-2s in the eyes of the judges. It could go down like that.
It almost did for Whitaker. So like I could see,
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
definitely see that. Yep.
Also, I was waiting, Austin, for you to call him Paulo Pasta, and I'm fucking disappointed you didn't.
Oh fuck! God damn it! No, I fucking shit. I'm sorry. He's not fighting Robert. That's like, what do you want me to do? He's not fighting Robert Whitaker. I'm not as violent against him.
All right.
Fat fuck right here. He's fucking drinking all the fucking carbs and fucking pasta that you can fucking find. This fat fuck call it pasta. Like, no, fuck that dude. Fuck that dude. You know what I say? You know, here's my other thing. Like, this motherfucker hasn't even signed a fucking contract. If he wants to fucking act like he's a fucking big shot in this fucking place. No, you don't even fucking fight Brazil. What the fuck are we doing here? Like, you want to fucking act like you're fucking the next Anderson Silva? Fuck you, dude. You can't even fucking sign a fucking contract, you piece of shit. Fat fuck. God damn it. I'm picking you, but you're a piece of shit.
Wow.
God.
Stop it. Get some help.
Call the fire department, folks. He just got burned.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
This is me being rowdy.
Let me jump in here. I am a bit torn on this fight, particularly. Clearly, the most online of any fight on the card outside of the main event. Sean is incredibly disciplined when it comes to sticking to the game plan. And as we all know, Nixick and the guys at Extreme Couture.
As long as it doesn't involve wrestling.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Apparently, he's got great Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I've never fucking seen it. So yeah, Sean, pretty good at sticking to the game plan. Nixick and the guys at Extreme Couture are notorious for having done their homework. So I expect him to come in with a pretty solid game plan. On the other hand, like Austin was mentioning, Costa is kind of a wild card, and his power is really the ultimate equalizer. Hence the nickname Borrachinha, which translates to the eraser. MMA math, if you believe in MMA math, it says Sean beat Izzy, Izzy beat Costa. Therefore, Sean beats Costa as well. I think it'll be very close, but I'm going to go against my better judgment here, and I'm going to go with Sean Strickland in a 5-round war. I got him winning a unanimous decision victory here. I think that if Sean can get him into those championship rounds, Costa's cardio is not going to hold up, and Sean will still be fresh. And I think that, I think Sean edges him out with a nice UD here.
Hold on. Before we go to the main event, god damn it. What is this confirmed? Five rounds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Did you not know that?
Regretting that pick, huh?
No, I did it, but I'm gonna stick to my pick because I'm a man. I'm a man of my fucking word. God damn it. God. How the fuck? What the fuck? God damn it. Nah, that's bullshit. There's no fucking reason for this to be fucking 5 rounds. What the fuck are they doing here?
That I specifically checked that when I was writing this fucking script because I was like, if this thing's 5 rounds, Costa don't got the gas tank for that shit, man.
He did against fucking Robert Whitaker. He almost fucking finished him. But then again, my boy Robert Whitaker pulled out. I don't know if fucking Strickland is the same. There you go.
We'll see.
Oh, God damn it. I'm gonna need another beer for this fucking shit.
You got time.
This is fair.
And our last fight of the night. The main event of 302. Another 5-rounder, this time for the undisputed UFC Lightweight Championship of the World. Lafayette, Louisiana's own Dustin the Diamond Poirier brings his 30-8 record to the octagon once again to face fellow top-tier talent and current champion Islam Makhachev. Makhachev, sitting on a 13-fight win streak, looks to follow in the footsteps of his mentor Khabib and trounce the Diamond in what's likely Poirier's last shot at promotional gold. These stakes don't get much higher than this, so fellas, I'll pose you this question. How do you feel this fight goes down, and do we finally see Dustin complete the fairy tale story? As we've been, Dangermouse, you lead us off here.
Okay. I don't think I need to sugarcoat this one very much. I could go over all the stats. I mean, Islam does have that very impressive one of only absorbing 1.27 strikes per minute, which is probably one of the lowest, if not the lowest in the UFC. But other than that, we all know this. Am I being unfair here? No, we know that this is a fight that Islam is going to win. People often say there's a puncher's chance, and that's often the case. But in this this particular case, you sometimes say, they'd win 10 times out of 100. I don't even think Dustin wins this one times out of 100, maybe one time out of 1,000. We've got that ever-present 35-plus statistic hanging over us. Never been done at lightweight. It has been done, but only at welterweight. This would be a new record for breaking that statistic. Dustin is an amazingly good fighter, but he just can't get this one done. And that's the other thing. It seems I heard an interview with him this evening, and he was talking about he most likely would retire after this fight.
Yeah.
Even if he won it, I think it would be kind of in his mind. I think he was thinking that would be a great way to go out, win the championship, and then leave. So I think his mind is half on retirement. I think that has to play into it. And it's Islam Makhachev. The guy is the best lightweight in the world. His wrestling is great. His striking is top level. A lot of people think or forget that he did Taekwondo back at college originally. He wasn't a grappler to start off with. Obviously, all Dagestani kids wrestle, but it wasn't his first art. I actually think that we've had the presence of Khabib around the training camp as far as I understand. And I think that might have a influence on how this fight goes. We've seen Islam engage with the strikers and play it backwards and forwards, and I think in this one he might just go straight back to father's plan and take Dustin down as quickly as he can, get him out of there as quick as he can. I would not like to set the over for this fight at anything over 1.5 rounds, to be honest. And that's it. I'm done. I'll let Austin have his rant now if he wants.
Very astute. Austin, what do you got here, bud?
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta finish my beer. As much as I would like to say that Dustin has a chance, he has, as somebody in the Discord had pointed out, a puncher's chance. Now, that doesn't mean that he has a great chance at all. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, the last time Dustin Poirier was in a title fight was against Khabib. No, I'm sorry. It was against Charles Oliveira, correct? And before that was Khabib Nurmagomedov. Let's say that what do those two have in common? They're great all-time grapplers, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what do we get with Islam Makhachev? He is by far a more calculated, a more precise, and more powerful grappler than those two combined. A lot facing Khabib in the gym 24/7, and the other defeating Charles Oliveira very handily the first time they met. There is a part of me that thinks Dustin has a chance, and honestly, I am personally invested in him actually winning the title, but I do not believe he will actually win it. My personal belief is that Islam Makhachev will play on the feet, fake a takedown to land a head kick knockout, and like the great Alexander Volkanovski before him, he will succumb to the play of the grappling game and realize it's too late to defend against a head strike because Islam is not Khabib. Father's plan will allow him to physically finish his opponents without actually having to land a takedown of his own. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
You guys got me all fired up over here.
I'm gonna grab another beer.
Let's do this shit. Let's go. All right. I'm about to break left hook Larry's heart here.
I know that he almost got me. That son of a bitch. He almost got me to fucking switch too.
Yep. As much as I would love to see the King of Diamonds flop a royal flush here, I'm afraid his pocket cards are more likely a 7 deuce. He'll play the hand he's dealt. but I truly feel Islam smashes him on the river and wins the pot. Poirier has fantastic boxing. He's got tons of heart. He's obviously a fan favorite. But Makhachev is fucking simply too undeniable right now to even be doubted. Uh, I don't think that you can, even if you're a left hook Larry, even if you have a fucking lifetime subscription to Dustin Poirier's hot sauce, I don't think you can concoct a fucking scenario in your mind that's realistic where DP comes out on top in this thing. Islam striking, as Danger pointed out, very underrated. His grappling, like Austin pointed out, probably better than Khabib and Oliveira combined. I mean, the guy is a fucking prototype of what you want in an MMA fighter. It's like he was created in a laboratory to go in there and fucking destroy and finish and smash and fucking obliterate anything in his path. So as much as I love you, DP, I'm going to go Islam here. I'm going to give you a little bit of credit. I'm going to say you hang around a little bit. You make things interesting for maybe the first or second round. But I'm going to go Islam by a third or fourth round submission. And here's my hottest take of the bunch. Sort of like DM touched on earlier. I'm thinking, and I'm kind of wagering, that win or lose, we might see a DP retirement when this fight's all said and done. So this could be the last ride of one Dustin Poirier.
Can you? I hate to be this guy, but can you really call it a ride when he's only got one fight, one straight?
Yeah, fair.
God damn it!
Love the guy. He's a fucking great dude. I mean, I'm sure he's a fucking phenomenal person to know behind the scenes, and he does fucking tons of shit for charity. He's got the Good Fight Foundation thing that he runs, and he's got a nice looking wife. Shout out Jolie.
Jolie.
She's not in my DMs. The fuck.
Ah!
But yeah, I don't think Dustin is gonna be bringing that title back home to the Bayou.
Nah, like you can't say he hasn't like earned an opportunity to at least fight for the title, but to say that he is the guy next in line for the title. No, if we remember correctly, the UFC was like, "Hey, Arman Tsarukyan, you are the guy next," and he's like, "I want more time," and they're like, "No, Dustin Poirier." like here we go. Like the UFC, like as much as I love watching it, it's like the most infuriating thing sometimes because it's like they don't give it to the guy who deserves it more, or do they build prospects like they usually do, or they used to,
Well,
I should say.
The bright
Like-
side is that Islam has said he wants to beat Dustin, then he wants to beat Arman, then he wants to move up to 170 because he'll have beaten everybody by then.
Yeah,
Which
but that
would be fair.
but I mean that's correct. That's the correct response as a champion. You take whoever is in front of you. That is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take on whatever the promotion deems as the number one contender. Unlike John Jones, Islam is facing the number one contender. Aha, chickens can't be goats. Fuck you, John Jones. But here's the thing. In this case, Dustin Poirier is not the number one contender. Arman Tsarukyan is. And unfortunately, Arman Tsarukyan said he needs more time, which you can't blame him for. He literally only lost by decision because he gave Islam his hardest fight prior to Volkanovski. And honestly, he is like a upgraded version of Volkanovski. He hits hard. The fucker can grapple for fucking days. And honestly, he is going to be the guy that's going to give Islam his toughest fight because it's going to be a grappling fest. Islam does not like to grapple that often, and if he does, it's because it's out of priority.
Oh no.
No, let me explain. Let me explain. Islam is Jacare de Souza of lightweight. He has powerful strikes. He doesn't strike a lot, but when he does, it lands and it makes effects that help him in his grappling aspect, much like Jacare de Souza, because Jacare was a power striker who loved to grapple. The man can also take a strike. The difference is that this is lightweight and not middleweight. He's not facing older names. He is facing names that cannot grapple the same way. So, I'll take Islam all day, every day, inshallah. Mahamdulillah.
No, I don't rate Arman's chances. Again, it's just MMA math. But compare what Arman did to Oliveira to what Islam did to Oliveira. They're on different planets, you know. Islam had him out of there in what one and a bit rounds.
I think that at very least we can all agree that at least it's nice to see Islam finally fighting a lightweight and not a featherweight.
yeah, for sure.
That's fair. That's
Great
fair.
point. Mhm.
All right, guys, you got anything else very brief you want to throw in here real quick?
I don't think so.
So say the PFL debacle, but I don't know if we have time for that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound brief. All right. Well, ladies and gents, that is going to just about wrap up this UFC 302 edition of the JBR preview show. We know there's a ton of options out there for MMA content. So if you made it to the end of the show, we'd like to give you some major props and a big thank you. We value each and every one of you donks. We'll be right back at it next Sunday for our usual weekend roundup, where we'll go over the results of this card and see just how right or wrong we were in our selections. So thank you all again for tuning in and listening. Let's get the hell out of here, guys. Peace.
Well, he gone.
Hey, Craig. Fuck you, bitch.
Oh,
Fuck
yeah,
you,
yeah.
you piece of
You,
shit.
Craig.
Fuck you, bro. I'm gonna be honest, I'm like 4.5 years deep right now.
Wait, why did Dave leave? Dave just bounced. What the fuck?
Oh, I think he pressed the wrong button.
Try to close Craig and he closed himself. Rewind.
Also, I grabbed a Little Caesar's pizza, and the guy told me that the employee bathroom is not available for the people who are ordering food. And I said, that's kind of bullshit, don't you think? And he said, oh, I didn't really have an opinion on it. I'm like, all right, so if someone pisses themselves while waiting for their food, what's the policy there? And he goes, I honestly don't get paid enough to kind of deal with that. I just tell the manager, and the manager kind of tries to take care of it. I'm like, oh, all right. So you're obviously 18. How many times has it happened? He goes, often enough to where it's an issue.
So how did this situation resolve itself?
I went to CVS. We're doing the Lord's work, gentlemen. We're doing the Lord's work. Dave, don't ever, yeah, don't show this to the public.